Let's do a little bit more processing. So I'm going to give you another chance to understand this whole morph target layers process and all of that. And we're going to get a little bit more complicated with it. But basically, if you look at his body and you look at his face, there's two different types of form there, right? And we want to go more towards the face where there's some skin on it. This is more écorché at the body, so we've got to do a little bit more to adjust it. So what I'm going to do is create a new layer. Make sure you're at the highest subdivision level. I'm going to go into deformations, and I'm going to really, really polish this down. So I set my polish to something around 64. Let's see how that behaves. Okay, so polished that right out. Made it look a little bit, a lot more vague, really. And not only that, but we can go in and let's go to Lightbox, and we're going to bring in a brush. A smooth brush, actually. Let's go smooth and smooth directional. There it is. So again, I pressed Lightbox, I went to the brush tab, and I'm going into smooth directional. There's a lot of different smooth brushes that you can use. Okay, now when you select one of these smooth brushes, it gives you this pop-up. It says, whenever you press Shift, this is the brush we're going to use. Are you cool with that? I'm going to say OK. I'm cool with that. Now when I press Shift, the smooth directional brush pops up. I still have the other smooth, so I still have the original smooth brush, but now I've got two choices. So when I press Shift, for now, I'm going to get smooth directional. If I wanted to change that, I would just go in and select smooth. Gives me the same warning. I say OK, and the next time I press Shift, I get the regular smooth. But I want smooth directional. And the reason why is because it's a great brush for smoothing form. So I'm going to smooth in the direction to start to move out some of these striations, return them to some kind of flesh quality. You can smooth across the form to really blur stuff, or you smooth with form and you get a different result. Smoothing with form is less, across the form is more. Maybe should have done this in a separate layer, but I'm okay with this the way it is. So I'm crossing form, crossing with form. Let's cross the form in the center there, yeah. And let's cross it a little in the back. Okay, I'm going to say that's in OK shape now. So let's let's do a comparison. Actually, it's really good to turn the layer off. Just see, get it with your eyes. Okay, before you can see all that noise, right? And now after that. But you might still want that noise in special places. So in a moment, I'm going to look at how to get that back. So I'm going to go a little overboard in smoothing this out, with the assumption that I'm going to really take a good hard look at how to bring this back. In some areas, that is. Okay. There we go. Alright, we're done with this layer. Press record to drop out of record mode. Okay, and I'm going to turn this layer off. Alright, what that does is restore me back to this state, right? And we're going to use that morph target again. So let's turn deformation so I can do my illustration. Remember that morph target is like taking a bucket, okay? And what we're going to do is take the shape that we have right now, and we're going to store this in. And let's just name this shape. We're just going to say call this shape écorché, because it basically looks like muscle fibers, right? A little too extreme. We want skin. So we're going to take our écorché, store it in a morph target, and then using the morph brush, we're going to put it back a little bit here. We're going to put it back a little bit in the elbow. We're going to put it back a little bit in the pectoralis, right there where it's connecting with the deltoid. We're going to bring it back into little tiny places. In fact, let's do that in red. So I'm putting it in little tiny places, not all over the model. So this allows me to be more selective about where I want this écorché quality to be. So let's do that right now. Let's walk through those steps. So we store the morph target. In this case, I have to delete and then store. So I've put it in the bucket. Okay, I'm going to turn this layer on. I'm going to create a new layer. And this is where, in this layer, I'm going to take what's in the bucket and I'm going to start to put it into specific areas. And how do I do that? I do that with the morph brush. So, morph brush is already selected. We can just come in now and start to brush on the surface. Lower the Z intensity if you want. You can also just tap in places. Really want that elbow to be more defined. Anywhere along a bone, more definition just helps. The hands will really benefit with some. Okay, and a little bit in the back. Not a lot, okay? Because one thing, your eye is going to get drawn wherever you do this. So you want to make sure you're doing it for a reason. Alright. So there, we've gone in and we've smoothed this out to make it look a little more flesh-like, while at the same time keeping the écorché quality in specific areas. You can even turn symmetry off. In fact, you probably would want to. Just, you know, a little bit of randomness. And I'm smoothing as well. There we go. Alright. And I'd say I would call that part of our work largely done.